Hello, welcome to our YouTube channel as we take you back to the ancient war of the Trojan. Is it a myth or reality? Well, without going much further, let's find out. The Trojan War is one of the most famous conflicts in history, immortalized in Homer's Iliad and passed down through generations as a tale of heroism, betrayal, and destruction. The story speaks of powerful warriors like Achilles, Hector, and Odysseus, of gods intervening in human affairs, and of a grand city reduced to ashes. But was the Trojan War a real historical event, or was it purely a myth? Did Troy exist? Was there an actual war fought over Helen of Troy, or was the story created to serve another purpose? In this video, we will dive deep into the origins of the legend, examine archaeological findings, and analyze historical evidence to separate fact from fiction. The traditional story of the Trojan War comes from Greek mythology. According to legend, it all started with a beauty contest among the goddesses Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite. They asked Paris, the prince of Troy, to choose the fairest among them. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, promised Paris the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta. Paris, enchanted by Aphrodite's offer, abducted Helen and took her to Troy. This enraged Menelaus, who called upon his brother Agamemnon and the Greek kings to help retrieve his wife. 1,000 ships were said to have set sail for Troy, carrying famous warriors like Achilles, the strongest Greek hero, Odysseus, the cunning strategist, Ajax, the mighty warrior, Nestor, the wise old king. For 10 years, the Greeks laid siege to Troy, engaging in epic battles. The war saw great duels, like Achilles versus Hector, where Achilles, the mightiest warrior, killed Hector, the prince of Troy. The war ended with the famous Trojan horse trick. The Greeks, pretending to retreat, left behind a massive wooden horse as an offering. The Trojans, believing they had won, brought the horse inside the city walls. But at night, Greek soldiers hidden inside emerged, opened the gates, and allowed their army to sack the city. This is the version we all know, but how much of it is true? For centuries, many believed the Trojan War was just a myth. After all, the Iliad and Odyssey were poetic works, not historical records. However, in the 19th century, a major discovery changed everything. In 1870, a German archaeologist named Heinrich Schliemann began excavating in Hazarlik, a site in modern-day Turkey. He found the ruins of an ancient city, which he claimed to be Troy. Further excavations revealed multiple layers of cities built on top of each other, showing that Troy had been destroyed and rebuilt several times. One of these layers, Troy 7, dates to around 1200 BCE, matching the supposed time of the Trojan War. Weapons, fortifications, and signs of destruction were found, indicating that a war had indeed taken place. Many historians now believe that Troy was a real city and that some form of war did happen. However, it may not have been exactly as Homer described. Some key theories include: the war was about trade, not Helen. Troy was located in a strategic position, controlling key trade routes between the Aegean and Black Seas. The Greeks may have attacked for economic reasons, not because of Helen. The Trojan horse might be a metaphor. There is no direct archaeological evidence of a giant wooden horse. Some historians believe it could symbolize a war tactic, a battering ram, or even an earthquake that helped the Greeks breach Troy's walls. The war likely didn't last 10 years. Most ancient wars didn't last that long. The Iliad might have exaggerated the timeline for dramatic storytelling. So, while a real conflict at Troy may have occurred, the details given in mythology are likely exaggerated or symbolic. Even if the war was real, Greek mythology added many fictional elements to make the story more dramatic. In the Iliad, gods like Zeus, Athena, and Apollo frequently interfere in battles. However, in real history, wars were fought by humans, not divine beings. Achilles is said to be invulnerable, except for his heel. This is likely an invented detail to create a tragic hero figure. While there were likely real battles, the one-on-one duels between warriors like Achilles versus Hector may have been dramatized for storytelling. The Iliad and Odyssey were oral traditions, meaning the story was passed down through generations, with each storyteller adding new details. So, what are the facts we can be sure of? Troy was a real city in modern-day Turkey. It was destroyed multiple times, with evidence of war around 1200 BCE. A war likely happened, but it was probably about trade and power, not Helen of Troy. The myths in Homer's epics are heavily exaggerated, blending real events with legend. The Trojan War, as told in the Iliad, is mostly a myth, but it is based on real historical events. Whether real or mythical, the Trojan War has shaped literature, art, and history for over 3,000 years. It inspired the Roman Empire, which claimed to be descendants of the Trojans through Aeneas and Virgil's Aeneid. Countless works of literature, from Shakespeare to modern novels, films, TV series, and video games about Achilles, Hector, and the fall of Troy. The story continues to fascinate people worldwide, proving that even if it wasn't exactly true, its impact is undeniable. So, was the Trojan War real? The answer is both yes and no. Yes, because Troy existed, and there was likely a war. No, because the details, such as gods and superhuman warriors, are mythical. The Trojan War is a mix of history and legend. While the war itself might have happened, the version we know today is a dramatic retelling rather than a factual event. What do you think? Was the Trojan War real, or just a great story? Let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more ancient history and legendary tales.